Well, shalom, friend. We're so close to the end of the 50-day count from Passover to Pentecost. Tonight we count day 48, and I'd like to call our attention to the ninth commandment, which is found in Exodus 20, verse 16. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. In Jewish thinking, this commandment prohibits anything that harms another person through an evil tongue. So all sins against people committed by speech, defamation, gossip, swearing falsely, even scoffing. Now, of course, Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. So we might think that followers of Jesus would not have to be concerned with lying. Yet the New Testament says in Colossians 3:9, do not lie to each other. So it must be a possibility. And then this begs the question then, why do people lie anyway? Well, there's some obvious answers, like we're born with a sin nature. In fact, there's a book that's called The Day America Told the Truth. They found that 91% of Americans lie regularly. And then sometimes people lie because of pride. We just want to look good. So we put up a false front, to maybe save face, to make a good impression, to make money. Sometimes people lie out of fear. Johnny, did you take that cookie? Oh, no, mommy. And sometimes people actually lie because they don't like somebody. That's hatred. The commandment says, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. So sometimes lying is done out of a disregard for a person, or out of contempt or revenge. Well, whether it be because of our sin nature or our pride or our fear or hatred, the fact is people lie. So then, how do we lie? Well, I could think of a dozen different ways that people lie. So I call these the dirty dozen. First of all, people lie under oath. Perjury is the most basic violation of the ninth commandment. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. The Torah says that when a witness witnesses against someone, they must be the first one to cast the stone. And if they're caught lying in their testimony, then they are to receive the same punishment that they tried to put the other person at risk for. Have you ever signed a tax return and knowing that wasn't right? Well, friend, that's lying under oath. Second, people offer lies when not under oath, like when Jacob deceived his father, pretending to be his brother Esau. And that lie cost Jacob 20 years in exile. Third, people can lie without even using words, like when Judas denied the Lord with a kiss. Or Joseph's brothers, who didn't actually tell their father Jacob that Joseph had been killed with a wild animal. They simply took Joseph's coat, they tore it into pieces, they put animal's blood on it, and they let their father draw the logical conclusion. Fourth, people can actually offer silent lies, like in Matthew 21. The chief priests and the elders asked Jesus, by what authority are you doing these things? And who gave this authority to you? And Jesus said, I'll ask you a question. If you answer me, then I'll give you the answer to your question. Well, they didn't want to answer Jesus' question, so they said, we don't know. And so then Jesus said, well, neither will I tell you by what authority I'm doing these things. They did know. They lied with silence. Fifth, people can lie with slander. Potiphar's wife slandered Joseph when she falsely accused Joseph of attempted rape. How many careers have been ruined through lying slander? In the business world, in politics, doctors who've been sued for just the money, ministers who've lost their ministry through an innuendo, through a rumor. And then sixth, people lie through flattery. Flattery is when we kiss up to a person, but we criticize them behind their back. Friend, God hates flattery because it uses the cover of a false friendship to give an unfair advantage over another person. Psalms 12 verse 2 says that flattering lips speak with deception. And seventh, sometimes we lie so as not to offend people. In other words, out of compassion. How would you like to have a surgeon who lied to you so that he wouldn't offend you? Eighth, people lie through boasting. Now this is when we flatter ourselves. Psalms 36:2 warns us lest we flatter ourselves so much that we can't even detect our own sin. And ninth, people lie through exaggeration. This has been called the sin of preachers. But politicians do it and salesmen do it. This is the overpromiser and the underdeliverer. And then 10th, people, this is an interesting one, lies at the altar. And I didn't make this up. This is the title of a book by Dr. Robin Smith. And the point is that people will spend massive amounts of money on wedding dresses and flowers and invitations and the renting of the ballroom. And they don't even give a thought to the substance of the wedding, which is the vows. In Malachi chapter 2, God said that he's a witness at our wedding when we promise. In other words, God saw that as people lying. 11th, some people can lie at a child dedication. There's a scene in the movie, I think it's Godfather 2, where a mobster is dedicating a baby while at the same time he's having someone killed. Now, most of us would never do that, but have we actually thought through what we're promising at a child dedication? I promise to give you my child. I promise to raise him in a Christian home. I promise to instill within him a love for the church and to model that. And I promise to lead this child in a personal faith in Jesus at the earliest age possible. Are we actually going to be diligent here? And finally, people can even lie to God. In the story of Ananias and Sapphira in Acts chapter 5, they thought that they were merely lying to Peter. They failed to realize that when we lie to a human being, we're actually lying to a person that's in the image of God. Remember in Genesis 9 verse 6, it says that murder is wrong because it attacks the image of God. Well, if murder is attacking the image of God, then lying to a man is lying to the image of God. Friend, let's be intentional from the heart as we bless God. In Judaism, we call this kavana. Kavana is when we intentionally direct our heart with sincerity. We all have to give accountability for how we steward our hearts. So we must have the ability then to direct our hearts. So let's direct our hearts to God now as we really bless him. And one way we can do this now is by just lifting our hands and blessing him from the heart. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us concerning the counting of the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu asefrat ha-Omer. And now let's count the Omer on this 48th day of the counting. Here's how we do it. Today is 48 days, which is 6 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. Hayom Shmona V'arba'im Yom Shehem Shisha Shavuot V'Shisha Yamim LeOmer. Again, today is 48 days, which is 6 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. God bless you, and I hope to see you tomorrow on the last day of counting the Omer.